Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be walking you through kind of my process for closing out the budget. That's why I decided to do more of a voiceover this time around, because I tend to get distracted when I'm talking and writing at the same time. So the first thing I do is I just go right in order, and I go from income, bills, variable expenses, and just check off and make sure that everything is accurate. For this paycheck budget, we actually ended up getting a settlement check from my husband's previous job, and then I also got paid out for my Amazon affiliate link. I'm really bad at checking that, and I find that I do get paid out every 3 months. It's not that much, but it's still money that is going to our bank, so I'm thankful for it. And then the next thing I do check is our bills and make sure that everything is accounted for. Luckily this time there's nothing unexpected that came up, so everything is accurate. And then for our variable spending, this is the one that takes me the most time because I am calculating everything out. So I didn't get a chance to highlight as I documented or tracked our spending. And I really do like to highlight because not only do I know visually or see visually right away which categories we're spending the most. Like you guys can see here, I'm hella highlighting food, our food category. It also helps out when I am calculating it or adding everything all up, because I can just go to the color that corresponds to the category. So but this time for our food budget, I don't know if you watched my spreadsheet budget with me, but I did mention that we did go over, way over our food budget, because we decided to do our big grocery trip in this paycheck budget versus when we get after we get paid. And it just worked out that way because my husband was getting my husband has been working a lot lately, and I wasn't sure if he was going to work through the weekend. And we do like to do our grocery trip where one of us stays home and the other one goes out and does the grocery shopping. But anyways, so for May, our grocery spending will for sure be way lower because I decided to take out however much we spent for this grocery budget. I don't know, I just wanted to throw that in there for myself also to make myself feel a little bit better, because that was totally unexpected. But yeah, it worked out. Our overall variable spending still remained under because we were under our other budget categories on there. So our original variable budget total was $715, and we ended up spending, I believe, like $656.93. We did that big grocery run 2 days before we got paid, so there weren't any other bills that needed to be taken out. The only expense that we were expecting was my husband's takeout expense, and that was pretty much it. So I know we were covered in our checking account. So yeah. And then so for savings, I pretty much saved however much we budgeted for, but I was looking at what we currently have and then our savings goals. I need to update it because I need to catch up with our travel budget. That trip is coming up super fast, and I want to make sure we save up for our Hawaii trip so we're not finding ourselves needing to fund that just all in that same month in September when we go on our trip. And we decided to stay another night, so that's definitely going to add a little bit more to our expense as well. So our savings bucket is the last category that needed to be totaled up, and then the next step, which is pretty much my final step, is to make sure that everything added up or balanced out against what we have in our checking account and our cash on hand. And what we had was $76.91 in our checking account and $46 in cash, and that all evenly balanced out just fine. So I don't have to go back and figure out if I miscalculated anything. So I had added up everything just fine, and I wasn't missing any spending or expenses in my spending tracker. So I love it when that happens, and it's exact to the penny. Anyways, so now we are moving on to the where did my money go worksheets. I'm so happy I don't have to do the debt payment plan section anymore. So I am starting here with the net worth tracker, and I did not do the net worth in the for March. So I just crossed that out. And I am just starting out with May. So May 1st, this is our current assets that we have. So checking, cash, our savings buckets, emergency fund, how much both of our cars are worth, and those are the Kelly Blue Book value. I don't know if anyone is going to be willing to buy our cars. It has a lot of cosmetic damage, but it runs just fine. So to us, it's worth gold. So as long as it gets us from point A to point B, we're totally fine. I do need to make sure that we add however much we have in our 401k. I never really thought about putting that on here, but I really should, because it is money that we will have, or it's ours. So I made a note there for myself. This is the second month where we don't have any liabilities since we've become debt free in March. We paid off our last student loan in March, which is awesome. And our total assets for this month is $27,187. And we have a goal to get that way up high. So that's the plan. So anyways, moving on to where did my money go, our monthly budget category breakdown. This is more of a spending breakdown as well as an income breakdown as well for the month. So starting with the starting balance for the month, that is the amount that we started with for April, which was the amount that we had left over when we closed out for March. So we rolled over a combination of cash and whatever we had in our checking account, which gave us a total of $18.96. And then now I am circling the ones that I'm adding. It'll make more sense when we get to paycheck budget number 2, because you guys will see on here, I do not circle the starting balance there. Although that amount, the $123.86, that was that's a rolled over amount from the paycheck budget number 1 for April, and that doesn't count as incoming income. It's just what we already had. So our total incoming income for the month is $5,277. And I always like to put a combination of what it was. So paycheck, affiliate, whatever I get, and the gift. And so our total monthly income was $7,174. And I know it seems high, but the amount that we rolled over was because we needed to cover rent. It hadn't cleared last paycheck or last month, so we had to roll over that amount for this month. And then so now I'm just writing down all of our budget categories. I'm actually copying all of these down from our spreadsheet budget just because it's easier to copy down, and it's all just in whatever order. It usually stays in this order actually. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before, but our monthly recap or monthly spending overview is based off of 28 days, not like 30 or 31 days. It's not a whole month because we do budget by paycheck and we get paid bi-weekly, so the dates are not always the same. So we really budget 2 weeks at a time. And then so when it comes to closing out a budget, we end up closing out 2 paychecks budget worth, so like 28 days, since our paychecks cover 2 weeks. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that I used to do monthly or try to, but for some reason for me, it didn't click, and it just works out so much easier for me this way. I know our spending is for 28 days, and so when I look at our monthly recap, I know it's not for the whole month, it's really just for the 28 days. But there are 2 months of the year where it's 3 paycheck budgets, so I believe it's like 42 days of spending that we track for the month. So those ones tend to be that took me a while to kind of get the hang of doing. And so our grand total for all the spending that we did was $7,051.47. And then so now what I do is I take our total monthly income, which I have up at the top, and subtract our expenses from that, and our total should equal out what we have in our checking account and cash on hand, which I do have. And that's also the same amount I get when I closed out the biweekly paycheck number 2. And then I will write what our ending balance is with both cash and what's in our checking account. I like to make a note of it just so I always know. And then This took some practice for me. There's been a lot of times where I had to go back and figure out what went wrong. And most of the time it was because I added something wrong, I forgot an expense, and yeah, I would lose my mind because I was trying to figure out what it was, the discrepancy was. But lately it's been fine. But anyways, so moving on to the debt and savings breakdown. Again, yay, we don't have debt, which I'm so excited about. So our focus right now is on saving, and our main focus with savings is our house fund. And you guys will see in a little bit, I wrote a percentage of how much of our total savings went to our house fund. There has been a handful of times where I feel like we would never get out of debt and we'd never start to save for a house and get out of our apartment. We love our apartment. We've been here for 8 years, don't get me wrong, but I just have this dream of having a house, backyard, more than one bathroom for all of us. But you know, we're slowly but surely saving up for it. And right now, so for this month, 50% of what we put into savings went into our house fund. I'm not sure when we'll get to move out and find our home, but at least we're getting the process started and starting to save up for our down payment. So I'm really excited about it. And the last section that I'm doing, I'm actually not completing the whole thing. I'm just writing in the total income that we received for the month. So this is the monthly spending comparison between March and April. And this is usually one of the things I do when I pre-budget or when I try to fill out what I can at the beginning of the month. So that way at the end of the month, I don't have to go back and like fill all of it out. But I just put in the income totals on there just so I know what amount that we had in March compared to what we had in April. And in March, we got a lot of money because we got a refund check that month, our stimulus payment that month also. So March was a really good month. And yeah, so that is pretty much it for this video. I hope that this was helpful, like me walking through kind of my process. I hope you guys understood it. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you in my next video. Have a good one, guys. Bye.